The first time that I met Art was about a year ago at St. Mike's. He was visiting as a pastor that was helping us in our transition period. We had recently lost our priest. He had decided that he was going to retire from our parish and move on to other prospects. And our community was in a place of a lot of hopelessness. Our pastor had been a huge part of the community at St. Michael's. He had taken on a role not only as our reverend but as the administrator, and so there was a lot of fear that we had with his leaving our community, especially knowing that currently in the Episcopal diocese there were not a lot of open priests available to fill in that absence. And so Art was there to sort of act as our transitionary pastor who would lead us into the next phase of our parish. When I first met Art, he was giving his sermon to us on his mandala. And his mandala, which is seen in the book and talked about in the book, was laid out on our church floor. And as he was giving his sermon to us, he was walking around it and telling us about the different stories, the different elements of the mandala. And in his first initial sermons, the focus really was about hope. We were in a place of great fear about the future of our church, not fear of any sort of individual thing or any individual person, but a generalized fear of the unknown, which is one of the things that Art really focuses on in his mandala and in his book, is that this fear of the unknown is one of the most difficult things to overcome. And that is certainly true for St. Michael's. Art really focused on controlling our element of hope and how we can use this hope for what we would like in our community and how we would like it to change to guide us into our new phase in order to mitigate the fear that we were feeling as a community. Art was very good at having us focus and open our hearts and open our minds on what we really hoped for and sharing that with our community. And it was a beautiful thing to hear, like, people talking about the hopes that they had that we wouldn't have discussed had it not been for Art. Things like the future of our church's security. We've had if difficulty with our church's security in the area that we're in. We've had difficulty with what kind of pastor would we like going forward? We had had such a phenomenal one who led with such grace and such musical interest that we weren't sure where we were gonna go without them. Um, and Art was always focused on what we wanted. He was what really spoke to me, especially as an educator, is that his goal was not to tell us what to do or to guide us into whatever he viewed as the perfect model for a church, but to really get to know us and our community and what we wanted, and then helped us figure that out and how to do it, how to make our hopes come true, how to make what we wanted happen. Which is one of the things that I think Art is so phenomenal for, and one of the best ways that you as a mentor, as a teacher can do is really meet the needs of who you're talking to and not influence them in your way. And I really appreciate that about Art. And I saw that in his own ministry and the ways that he mentors youth. So I know that it's not just how he mentors church communities, but also how he mentors people, everyday people, especially the youth, which really spoke to me.